Hi, everyone. Our guest today is Syed Ali Zia Jaffery, Deputy Director of the Center for Security, Strategy and Policy Research at University of Lahore and Associate Editor of Pakistan Politico. He's also former visiting fellow at the Stimson Center at Washington, D.C., and he writes widely on South Asian security and Afghanistan-Pakistan relations. Hi, Sayed. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for the invite. I look forward to the conversation.
Sayed, so over the past year, tensions have been very high between Pakistan and Afghanistan. This obviously relates to the work of the TTP militant group, border clashes, cross-border operation, the repatriation of Afghan refugees. From your perspective, has Pakistan's policy towards Afghanistan entered a new phase?
As we have been discussing in the past too, one can really see a fundamental shift, and that shift has a reason which is centered on Pakistan's quest to safeguard its sovereignty against territorial aggression. As I said in the past, as I've said and written in the past, unfortunately, the Afghan Taliban has not been able to pull the plug on the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Neither it has been able nor it is willing to do that, despite repeated efforts by Pakistan to convince the group. So when we have this scenario, then Pakistan can obviously be expected to do something different to what it was doing before. Attacks since the Doha Accords, the attacks on Pakistani territories across the country, they have increased tremendously. And most of the attacks have been conducted by the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which, according to all neutral observers, has its safe havens inside of Afghanistan. So Pakistan, since 2021, has been telling the Taliban to do something about the presence of TTP. At first, the Taliban deterred. Then they asked Pakistan to engage in dialogue. Pakistan did that in good faith. But then, when Pakistan demanded concrete actions from the TTP, the Afghan Taliban balked at the idea. And not only that, there is evidence that the TTP is getting operational support from the from the Taliban. When Pakistan sees an exponential rise in terror-related violence, it goes back to the source, and the source, unfortunately, lies in Afghanistan. And currently, Afghanistan is being controlled by the Afghan Taliban. So it is this policy change has a context, and we must not lose sight of that context. So yes, the policy has changed, and it is quite clear that Pakistan will target the source, which provides support to TTP and other inimical groups, so that the evil is nipped in the bud. Now, I'm not saying that this approach is the be all and the end all of everything. A lot of other things need to be done. In my last interview with you, I gave you numbers from the data that my center, CISPER's Project PRISM, is collecting and doing analysis on. I clearly said that ever since Pakistan has started the operation against the Afghan Taliban and other military targets inside of Afghanistan, the number of attacks on in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, the most affected province uh, mm, from terrorism, uh, has come down, but those numbers have again started increasing. So, as I said, this policy shift has a context, and it has some kind of effectiveness, and but obviously it has to be mixed with a lot of other things for in order for Pakistan to achieve a success against this terrorist outfit in totality.
And how does Pakistan view the role of third countries in its relation with Afghanistan, like China or Turkey?
Okay,
What is their role?
so both Turkey and China are very good friends of Pakistan. We have strong relations across domains between with both the countries. Turkey is a brother Muslim country. Our relations predate our independence even. So we go way back. So Turkey is also having is also engaging with the Afghan Taliban since 2021. China, as you know, for the past 15 or 16 years has increased its influence in China, especially in the economic and development realms, and its official engagements with the Afghan Taliban have also increased over time, especially after 2021. So Pakistan has never shied away from third party mediation, be it with India, be it with Afghanistan, because we cannot afford ruckus and mayhem in Afghanistan, because that is going to be disastrous for Pakistan too. So yes, Pakistan is open to the idea of mediation, and there have been instances where Pakistan has shown restraint because those mediators um, asked Pakistan to you know put the foot off the pedal. So Pakistan is open to the idea of third party mediation, but then that mediation should lead to something constructive. If the attacks continue the way they are, then mediation can only do so much. And China has all the good intentions when it comes to mediating between two countries, because China wants its Belt and Road Initiative, of which the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is an important part, to continue to foster, to grow into a very important development arc in the region and beyond. So for that, it needs stability, and the Wakhan corridor and everything else. So and the investments in minerals and construction and infrastructure and all. And China also wants, and Pakistan also has offered the expansion of CPEC to Afghanistan. So all of this, when both sides are committed to economic connectivity and integration, so they would want to figure out a way to break this impasse. But when but when the guns continue firing, there's hardly anything that any mediator can do. So Pakistan's position is fine. Pakistan does not deny any attempts at brokering peace. Remember, in context, Pakistan was very open to the idea of third party mediation, especially by the US last year. It is India that has been denying the involvement of the mediatory effort of President Donald Trump since 2025. So Pakistan's principal position is that it is open to mediation if mediators are sincere and they are willing to step in for peace and stability. But whether that mediation will prove effective is a different ballgame altogether.
And tell me, has the have the militant activities within Afghanistan changed in any significant way recently?
Within Afghanistan, I think within Afghanistan, the situation actually since the Taliban has taken over, taken back power, uh, violence has come down. The level of violence has come down in Afghanistan. But still, it is a very fertile ground for militancy. But what has happened is that while violence has come down in Afghanistan, the level of violence has come down in Afghanistan, the the groups that are operating inside of Afghanistan freely, they have increased their activities in neighboring countries, especially Pakistan. Uh, Pakistan's two provinces which border Afghanistan, namely Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, have been devastated by the resurgence of terror-related violence. So this question is tendential, but the very fact that uh, Afghanistan again is still remains a fertile ground for terror-related violence is something that is concerning for Pakistani policymakers, because this lies at the heart of what you asked at the very beginning. Why this policy change? And this policy change is exactly uh, because the environment, the operational environment in Afghanistan is is becoming increasingly propitious for Taliban and other inimical outfits, which the Afghan Taliban is are unwilling and unable to control.
So, what do you think is going to happen next? So, what will be Pakistan's next moves when it comes to its policy towards Afghanistan?
Okay, so unfortunately, I don't have anything good to say here. I don't see any glad tidings going forward. I think we'll remain in the cycle of violence. Um, we will, attacks will happen. Pakistan will launch retaliatory strikes inside of Afghanistan. Then the numbers will come down for about 1 or 2 months. Then again, when our strikes will stop, the numbers will again start increasing, and this vicious cycle will continue, will move forward, um, unless the use of force is mixed with diplomacy. It cannot um, act as a coercive as an effective coercive tool. But in terms of the overarching policy, I believe it will remain very clear that terrorism, terrorism is a major threat to Pakistan. So Pakistan has now decided that no attacks will go unresponded to, right? And the tactic has changed. Like, instead of, obviously we are fighting militants inside of the country, but now we are absolutely clear that we need to target the source, because the source, if the source is taken out or eliminated, metaphorically speaking, Pakistan does not seek the elimination of the Afghan Taliban. It just wants to coerce that group, so that it either stops supporting the TTP or take action against that very group. So the policy will remain the same. Acts of terrorism um, will be responded to, and those retaliatory strikes will happen inside of Afghanistan. This now is a baseline. I don't think the nature of attacks will be any different. we will continue to employ what we have already employed. Ground invasion is in my opinion off the cards. It's not in the offing, because that will open another Pandora's box, and it will be and it will create another mess. But as I said, this cycle will continue for a foreseeable future, unfortunately.
Thank you, Saeed. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
That's it.